Hey MGTOWs, this is Vention. Just hanging out in my little outdoor kitchen here. We've been doing most of our evening cooking out here because it gets a little bit hot. I set up this shelter here to keep the afternoon sun from going through the kitchen window, and then it will keeps the place a lot cooler. Just got finished getting a little bit of ultraviolet radiation. I had this weird rash on my calf, and I ended up killing it with sunlight. And they say sunlight's bad for you. I think that's just a lie. Sunburn is bad for you. A little bit of sun every day is probably a good thing. Vitamin D, It's why we get sick. I think it's why we get sick so seldom in the wintertime. So just wanted to cover a couple of things. One of them is that the social justice warriors have struck again. There was a show that I used to really enjoy way back in the day, and pretty much always, called Doctor Who. It's a British science fiction TV show, but and it started like in 1964 or so. And I was like very young back then. So in any case, the social justice warriors have been slowly taking over that show, like constantly for years now, and now they finally drove a sword right through its heart. And just like with those comic books like Iron Man and Captain America, they decided to swap the genders of the freaking Doctor, the main character that's been a male for like since 1960. So they're going to have to learn the same lesson that these comic books, Marvel Comics, have learned. And if you alienate your core audience, the most hardcore supporters, then the merchandise sales will tank, and the ratings will tank. Now, sure, the UK has the TV tax, so they have like a captive, enslaved freaking revenue source that has to pay no matter what. But internationally, TV works differently. It works on ratings and advertising, and they are going to have a horrible discovery when they alienate their core audience. The ratings tank, and the show gets canceled in the West and in other nations, and then and their core audience and the merchandise implodes in the UK, and they're probably going to end up canceling the show at the end of this next season. I would not be surprised. I don't know if I'll even bother watching. I might, just out of a sense of morbid curiosity, but it's not going to be good. It's going to be a fucking train wreck, just like Ghostbusters 2, or no, the modern Ghostbusters, where they changed all the male characters to females and had a couple of clowns basically as males, and it was just, supposedly it was pathetic, but obviously I didn't go see it. But basically, it's just one of those things. It's another indication of a society that is just imploding, and it's just on its way down. It happened in Rome, happened in Sparta, and it's happening in the West. It's like a really slow motion nuclear war, because it'll have about the same amount of damage, but it basically will be really slow. Raspberries are starting to peter out a little bit, but there's still a few left. Good times. Okay, what else did I want to cover? Okay, back to Bitcoins again. Bitcoins tend to double in price about every year, every 10 months or so. But they basically go in jerks, you know. They just continue just sort of horizontal for like months generally. They go up and down a little bit, but then they hit a big bull run for a couple of, like maybe a month or so, and then they reach like a new level and they never retrace to the old price range. And I think that might be what we're experiencing right now. There have been a couple of downturns because of the Chinese miners doing something like computerized terrorism. I mean, first they jammed the network with all kinds of fake transactions, and now they created a second Bitcoin called Bitcoin Cash, and they are under the impression that it's going to take off, but it's complete crap. None of the users support it. The full node owners, they don't support it. The big exchanges, so far they don't support it, and it's just going to be a disaster for them. But it's causing a big decrease in confidence for Bitcoin as well. So that's holding the price down, and it's okay because I get paid tomorrow anyway. I get some cheap Bitcoins and continue to build my position. I'll never have as many Bitcoins as I had before I sold half of them to pay off the house, but I will eventually, you know, have more. And every month that goes by where the price doesn't shoot up, I can gain a little bit more ground, and I can buy about a half a Bitcoin every other week, I think, something like that. Big surplus income, single guy, you know. Okay, what else? Wanted to cover the economic downturn that I'm talking about a lot as a prepper. Basically, the economy goes in a cycle of about every 8 or 10 years. We drop into a really nasty recession. For a couple of years, we go down, and then bottoms out, and then we start climbing up the other side into recovery. I thought that in the fall of 2016, we were going to have an implosion, but it just didn't materialize. And I believe it's because of all that Chinese money coming in to basically prop up our real estate and stock market. But I believe that that resource has been used up, and now we're going to have our recession. I believe it's going to happen this fall, and that's going to cause some banking failures. It's going to start. It's not going to happen all at once, but eventually it's going to cause a decrease in confidence in the conventional economic system. Then we're going to have a lot of people fleeing into Bitcoin. So that'll be good for anybody who's holding it now. And of course, gold and silver. I'm not selling that. So what else? I guess that's about it. Just wanted to apprise you of the Doctor Who situation. And and about that Doctor Who thing, they instantly, like this just massive tidal wave of social justice warrior agenda, social media. It's like a campaign almost, and it almost looks like it's orchestrated because they're all saying the same thing, and they're all shaming men who don't like seeing the main character turned into a female, and they're, you know, complaining about how we are like basement dwelling neckbeards and video game addicts, stuff like that. The typical shaming language of, oh, and masculine or men are crying, or male tears, and they're blathering on like that. So, what a joke. They're just, they won't even learn either, because these people, they don't think like we do. They think they just have a belief system, like a religion, and they don't let reality stand in its way. The only time they can stop is when they realize they can't go on anymore. And about all of these social justice warrior types, right? What they are doing with all of their BS, right? Their constant bitching and complaining. It's basically a situation where they're used to being coddled to, or like catered to, and nurtured along. And I believe, it's my suspicion that they're acting like, you know, like women and children often act. You know, they just are used to being helped along, that they just are in this permanent stage of permanent condition of anger and dissatisfaction and complaining, right? Because that's how they have always gotten their way. and the adults in the room, basically, you know, we have a natural desire to care for the young and and of course help women and make them happy and shit. It's just a natural, sort of a natural program in our brain if you're a guy, and you just want to help these people. So I'm thinking that the reason why you can never ever help these people is because they have an agenda and they want more, and if they say that they're happy even once, then all of any momentum they have in their agenda will be lost. So they basically just keep complaining and complaining. And now, I believe, after Anita Sarkeesian's little brief hiccup of self-awareness, she has gone back to her usual thing, and now she is complaining that Doctor Who being a woman isn't even enough, and Doctor Who has to be more inclusive, and more bullshit just like that. It just never ends. And the only way you cannot please these people. So the only intelligent thing is just to live your life the most sensible way you can, and do everything you can to just resist these people, because they will never ever stop until we are freaking in chains or castrated and in concentration camps, labor camps. I mean, that's even that. It might end up to being like a final solution if we just always somehow just did not ever fight back, right? That is probably where we would end up. But basically that, of course, will not happen. There will be a backlash. So just thought I would sort of throw that out there. And one more thing. Don't get married.